The first night I stayed in room 6 of the old roadside motel, I woke at exactly 2:44 a.m. to the sound of water running. The sink in the bathroom was spraying full blast. When I stumbled in, my feet hit the wet tile, ice cold, and I froze. The mirror over the sink was fogged, as if someone had just taken a shower, and in the middle of that fog, I swear I saw words forming from a finger dragging across it. Stay quiet. I grabbed a towel, wiped it away, and the words were gone. But when I turned off the faucet, I noticed my reflection wasn't matching my movements. I wasn't there for fun. I was traveling through rural Pennsylvania for work, documenting forgotten motels along the old highway. The Pinewood Inn was supposed to be shut down in the 90s, but one wing had been reopened by a private owner. Most rooms were empty, boarded up. Room 6 was one of the few so-called safe rentals. Locals warned me off. They said the police had been there dozens of times, that people heard noises in the walls. I laughed it off. I'd stayed in worse places. But within the first night, I realized something had been covered up in that room, and whatever it wasn't finished with me. Every time I re-entered room 6, I smelled bleach. Sharp, biting, with a metallic undercurrent like rusted coins. It came strongest from behind the headboard. When I shifted the bed away from the wall, the scent only grew stronger. The wallpaper there looked bubbled, like moisture had been sealed inside. At 11:32 that night, as I logged my notes, I heard scratching, like fingernails dragging inside the wall. Long, deliberate strokes. I pressed my ear to the plaster and heard something else, a faint breath. Slow, wet, as if someone on the other side was pressed against me, just waiting. At 2 a.m., the knocking began. 3 taps from inside the wall. I froze. Then 3 more, higher up, like someone climbing. I ran outside barefoot into the night air and circled the building. Room 6 had no windows on that side, just a blank wall. No pipes ran there, no utility lines. I stood in the gravel, heart pounding, listening. The knocks didn't stop. They followed me, tracing my steps along the wall from inside. When I went back in, I slid the dresser in front of the headboard and sat awake until dawn. But the knocking came in bursts, taunting, like whoever or whatever was inside didn't care if I heard. The next day, I asked the motel manager about room 6. His face went white. He told me the room had been remodeled after an incident in 1989. A man who stayed there had gone missing. Weeks later, guests in the room next door complained of a smell. Police broke through the wall between the units and found what was left of him sealed inside. The manager swore the case was solved, that the killer was caught. But when I checked public records later, I found the file had been quietly closed. No conviction, just case suspended. That night, I slept in my car. But even in the parking lot, facing the room, I saw movement through the curtain. A shadow pacing back and forth, though no one had checked into room 6 after me. On the 3rd night, against every instinct, I went back inside. Something compelled me, like unfinished business. I tapped the wallpaper where the smell was strongest, and it gave a hollow sound. I tore at the bubbling paper with my fingernails until a seam revealed itself, a hidden door, plastered over. Behind it, a crawl space. I shone my flashlight in and nearly dropped it. Inside were belongings, dozens of them. A child's backpack, a pair of glasses with one cracked lens, a half-used roll of film still in its black plastic canister. All dustless, as if placed recently. At 2:44 a.m., the faucet in the bathroom roared again. The mirror fogged, and this time the words appeared without hesitation. "Don't dig." A voice followed, hoarse, wet, and inches from my ear, though no one stood beside me. "You're already inside." The lights flickered. From the wall came not scratching this time, but pounding, fists, palms, too many to be one person. The crawlspace door shook against its hinges, as if something inside was throwing itself against it. I stumbled back, dropped my flashlight, and in the dark, I swear I felt hands brush my ankles from under the bed. I fled to the car and drove to the state police outpost 20 minutes away. They searched room 6 that morning. What they found made local news for one day before the story vanished. Behind that plastered wall was more than a crawl space. It was a corridor connecting 4 sealed rooms. Inside were dozens of personal items spanning decades, and in one corner, shallow graves lined with plastic sheeting. Forensics matched DNA to 6 missing persons cases, some over 30 years old. The motel was shut down permanently. The owner was questioned but released. Ellis, the same manager I spoke with, disappeared 3 weeks later. His car was found abandoned, keys still inside. And here's what chills me. When police cataloged evidence, they found the roll of film I'd seen in the crawlspace. Developed, it showed Polaroids of every person who had stayed in room 6 since 1975. Some were blurred, some clear. The last photo in the roll was of me, sitting at the desk, writing in my notebook. The timestamp matched my first night there, hours before I'd unpacked my camera. I still don't know who or what took that photo. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I hear those 3 knocks, one after another, waiting for me to answer. If this true story shook you, subscribe for more real horror.